What do you mean?
No, Hunter.
Oh, yes. Oh, 100%. Always have been.
Me too. Oh my God. We should get Fiverr in here.
Yeah, I know. I thought about that too.
Go get him.
I just wanted to
go get him.
Hold on. I just wanted to say to everyone out there who is a fan of our channel and a fan of Lazlow's channel, let me give a big, huge introduction here. Okay, we have two of the best residue hunters, producers, whatever you want to call it. We have residue queens in the audience. I mean, in the chat here with us. We have Theresa Lynch.
Yeah, in the audience too, sure.
And in the audience. So Theresa Lynch and Kiera. So Kiera, tell us about yourself a little bit.
Well, let's see. Okay. I'm an old fart. I'm from Toronto, Ontario, Canada. I have been literally seeing parallels and shifts and merges and name changes since 1987. And I didn't know what it was called, and I always just assumed I should be in a padded room until I met up with some friends in high school that also saw the differences with Mac and McDonald's, stuff like that. And from there until the internet world of the Mandela effect being coined, I didn't know what it was called. I just thought it was possibly logo changes and brand changes. But once I started really researching into it and seeing that there was very little, if any, residue on some stuff, that, oh, okay, the company always was Oscar Mayer and not Meyer, when I literally stood and stared at a pack of freaking wieners in 2010. Why does this have an A now? What is going on? And this has been like my whole existence of seeing things like this. So I run the Mandela Effect Researchers Group on Facebook. I started it around June, and it's now got 1,500 plus members of people with the same type of memories. And it's really, really cool to find group of people that we can all feel insane together as we see flip-flops and changes and compare and note our memories. It's a fascinating world. It really is. Whether this is a matrix or what is going on, I have theories, but I mean, I have literally been seeing this, and Egyptians even talked about this in parallel worlds. So it's definitely nothing new. This isn't something that just happened with Mandela's death. You know what I'm saying? And I'll let you guys talk. I'm done yapping. Go ahead.
Oh, you're fine. You're fine. You're doing great. So what is it? What is it that really intrigues you about the Mandela effect? What is it that really stands out for you? I mean, other than what is the behind the surface here that you see? I mean, you've seen it obviously a lot longer than some of us have, you know.
I truly believe it's parallels merging. I don't know necessarily. Pardon me, I'm getting over pneumonia, so my voice cracks. I believe it's parallel universes that are merging. I don't know about the CERN theory. I'm still on the fence about it. It could have possibly accelerated, or something is accelerating it, whether it's our own personal ascensions, and that's why some people are more aggressive, because they're newer souls, they're not seeing it, they're not ready to ascend because this is technically their first time in this go around, or what it is. But I've seen it. I have witnessed deaths happen a second time. My mom's maiden name changed. Whenever my great aunt died for the second time, by the way, recently, and I got an email from my mom about it, and when she said she died, I literally just kept rereading the email, and I'm like, no, she died like 10 years ago. This doesn't make sense. But with everything I've seen, nothing does make sense. That's the whole thing about it, is there's flip-flops and everything proving that, oh, okay, like Chuck E. Cheese in town was Chuck E. Cheese's. All of a sudden, it's Chuck E. Cheese. I tell everyone on my Facebook, and I had people unfriending me and saying I was cuckoo crazy and should be, locked up, and what's wrong with you, or always was, is my favorite thing people say to me. But sure enough, one girl contacted me when it flip-flopped back, and she goes, oh, I dropped the kids off there, and I just was in the parking lot for like 10 minutes staring at the sign. It changed back. You're right. It was Chuck E. Cheese's and blah, blah. So it's like the flip-flops really, really help cement what is going on for me. When I see them, it makes me feel better. Some people feel more crazy. I feel like it validates it for me that, oh, it really was. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Of course, stuff like Hellman's and that'll just get more L's until it's Hellman's, but you know, other things do flip back. I find it's mostly logos though.
Yes, and Theresa and I deal with logos a lot, and she freaks out, I freak out. But here's the thing: like, she'll present me information too that I already know she sent me before, but then she sent it to me again. But it's for her, it's the first time, but for me, it's the second time. You know what I mean? Have you ever had any of that happen?
Oh, I've had that. I've had conversations with people where I can see changes in their personalities, whether it's through Facebook and talking to them, and even in the way they write. And one of my good friends, I even saw her last name change, and it changed from an A to an O, and it was so obvious that people in my Facebook group started talking about it. And we did a poll, and sure enough, about 50% remembered it the way I remembered it. So we are literally seeing multiple versions of people. I had people tell me recently that my name changed. And the reason why this came about is an aunt sent me a card. I have it on my Facebook. I can send you a picture. Literally, It was addressed to myself and my daughter, and she put Kiera with 2 R's. K-I-E-R-R-A-T Winters on my address. And I thought, well, that's weird. I know she's like, 70 or whatever, but why would she spell my name wrong? It threw me. It really, really did. And then I opened up the card, and inside the card, the name is spelled wrong. And I'm just staring at it going, okay, I already heard somebody tell me that they had witnessed my name change. And the same person that said my name changed, I noticed his last name lost an E. It had 2 E's, S. And now it has 1 E and S for the end of it. I won't say people's names on here, but literally it threw me. So I did a survey with my name, and sure enough, one of the guys that I've been talking to now for almost a year about Mandela Effect said, I didn't want to say anything, but yes, you had 2 R's in your name when I met you for a fact. And then I started talking to other people, and a girl I knew from a fan club that had nothing to do with Mandela, nothing, she's totally nothing to do with it, said, yeah, I was wondering why you changed your name. It just, those type of things cement that there are multiple versions of us. We're infinite.
I know, and you're not the only one experiencing that. I get people that come to me all the time. Didn't used to be Brian McFarland? And I'm like, no, it was, for me, it was always Brian McFarlane. I'm telling you. And I could have sworn the Kiera, Theresa, didn't I send you a message about Kiera with 2 R's?
Yes.
I could have sworn I did. So I don't know. We're bouncing.
Let me look.
It's right down there in the Hangout. Hangouts with Kiera with 2 R's and Theresa. I see that. So that is.
Yeah, I've never personally, this version of Kiera's never ever had 2 R's. That looks more like Sierra instead of Kiera. But yeah, no, I personally have never spelled it with 2 R's. And to have an aunt send something to you that's personal like that literally put a knot in my stomach, because when I've witnessed friends change, personalities change, aggressive behaviors, cocky behaviors, whatever you want to call it, it throws you. It's enough to sit there and say, oh, maybe they're having a bad day, because that's not a shift to me. Somebody having a bad day, we all do, right? You know what I'm saying? You can stub your toe one day and have a freaking cartwheel the next. But I have literally seen these people have such, including my mother, such dramatic changes. And that's what I was going to say about my aunt. When my aunt passed away and I got the thing about it, their last name was Macmillan, Macmillan. Now it's Mick, MC. And I'm like,
no, I've always known Macmillan. Yeah.
It threw me, and it scares me. And I've been testing my parents, and they're totally unaffected. But my mom has talked about things that I'm like, that never happened. And I remember being potty trained, for God's sakes. I have like a sickening memory, and it scares people sometimes, because I always tease and say it's pornographic memory, but no, I have a photographic memory for things. I'm the type of person that can watch a movie once and tell you scene for scene, and even music that was in it. So that's why I'm really good at finding these flip-flops in movies and stuff. But it drives me insane, because my mom hated coffee. She wouldn't kiss my dad if he had his cup of coffee. She hated the smell, complained about it. My mom came to visit me for my birthday. Not only was her personality drastically different, like I only see her like once a year, but drastically different. She literally had coffee in her truck. I'm like, what? And then she gave me these brownies for my birthday, and she's like, I made them, and they smell like coffee. And I said, they smell like coffee. And I'm not a coffee drinker. I never tried a cup in my life. And I was like, they smell like coffee. She's like, oh, yeah, I added this blah, 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 coffee and Kahlua to the thing. I'm like, Mom, I've never drank. Yeah, but it's just in the icing and the coffee and the coffee. So right there, I had like all right, you know, maybe it's just an age thing. She tried and liked it. I didn't. I tried to, you know, pass it off as one of those deals. But then I talked to her about JFK and other things to see her reaction. And the only thing that she agreed with me on was the Lindbergh baby. JFK, she dismissed.
Oh my God.
For her 6. It was 4 for me.
Oh my God. I wanted to ask you something too. Okay, a couple questions really. Actually, one's a story about Lisa was telling me about her grandparents. Their middle names are different now. Like 2 of her grandparents' middle names changed. And I found out recently that my grandfather did not have brown eyes. His eyes were hazel.
Wow.
And I remember him clearly having brown eyes. So that kind of freaks me out a little bit. And then we have the whole eye change with the extra darker ring on the outside of the iris. You know that I did a video.
Oh yeah, the limbo ring. Yeah.
Yep.
That's new. That's new for me.
It may not be new for everyone, but by gosh, I mean, when it hits like a vast majority of people, you know it's got to be an effect.
I keep seeing all the anatomy changes, and I'm a certified personal trainer. And when I sit there and I had to study that type of stuff, and I see things with like heart, liver, stomach's up higher, liver separated now, you name it, right? All this different stuff. I can't help but to feel sometimes excited and sometimes a little shell-shocked, because I'm an artist too. Like, it's one of my little side hobbies. I make like
I love art.
I stare at my hands all the time because I'm holding a carving knife. I literally saw thumbs change, and when I saw
I felt the change. I'm telling. I felt the change because I'm sitting here with my mouse on the rest, and it's resting different now. And
it does.
I know. I noticed the change. Like, it's so weird how it happens. And I was speaking
I saw the change in the thumbs, and I felt freaked out. And I got to tell you something really quick, because this just nailed it for me. My 10-year-old, who's more like a 20-year-old, she woke up, and I said, and she's very affected. She's seen it all right from the get-go. Like, she really has. And we always talk about it. She got in trouble in class for saying something wrong with the moon, for God's sakes. But anyways, I said to her, there's a new change. She goes, what's the new change? And she was half asleep waking up for school. And I said, look at our thumbs. And she looked at my thumb. She went, oh. And she looked at hers and went, oh, God, I don't like it. It's so freaky. So she noticed right away. I mean, like, it's like she's that awake. Well, but it's unbelievable to me. It's just proof.
Well, Theresa noticed the change in the thumbs, too. She was showing me how never before she was able to do. Theresa, you want to talk about it?
No, you can tell.
Okay. Well, she showed me a picture where now she can touch with her thumb to her, like, the underside of the pinky, you know?
Yes.
And
yes.
Before we were never able to do that. But now it's an easy thing.
I could never make a full circle with my index and my thumb. I remember being a kid, and you would do that little eye thing with the mask with your hands. Yeah. You know, that type of thing. And I would start doing that with my daughter when she was little, and we'd, play pretend or whatever. And it still didn't quite go. I have a residue proof. I'm going to have to send it to you. I have a picture that I just came across in my newsfeed of me holding the baby bunny I'd had. And the way I'm holding the rabbit, and then I took a picture of my thumbs now, and I swear to God, it's residue, because I did a line across from the knuckle to the index knuckle, and it's different. It's definitely shorter in the old picture. So I don't know how I would have residue of this, but I think it is residue. Like, I'm pretty sure the everything looks longer and different, even though I'm doing the exact same positioning of my hand. And so, remind me, I gotta email that to you, because it's like, to me, that is like proof right there. But as an artist, looking at my hands and seeing that big space and being able to do a circle with the index and cross my thumb all the way to the back of the index knuckle, you know what I'm talking about? It's like gross, creepy. But I'm wondering, just to throw this to conspiracy.
Oh, I gotta ask you something.
With with the mark of the beast, and with them wanting to put an implant in that webbing, do you not notice there's an extra lot of flesh there now that they could easily be putting those implants in? Whereas before it was shorter, and I used to think, oh, they're going to put that in, and that's going to be freaking painful if you get caught and have to have one of those type of ID chips. You know what I'm saying? But now it's like there's a lot of room there.
I don't know. Have you noticed, like, on your hands or somewhere, like, are there extra scars that were not there before? I'm noticing some of that too.
I had a scar on my ring finger, like a wedding ring finger.
Yeah.
And this is freaky. I talked about it in my Mandela group that it disappeared. And I thought, okay, I got it when I was like in grade 1, so maybe it just faded. And then I kept showing people that knew me and knew about this little scar. And they're like, yeah, it's gone because it's in the shape of a teardrop. And then it was literally around from June to August, it was completely gone. And sometime in September before my daughter's birthday, I looked down at my hand when I was putting a ring on, and it was back. So I was like, okay, that's different. But as for other scars, I've been monitoring my scars, and they're all there. Like a surgery scar or anything on my knee, all that, it's still there. I wish it would go away, but it's still there. So that's the only one that disappeared. And my eye color did change because my eyes were extremely aqua when I was a kid. They went from like blue, a bright blue like my daughter's, and then they went to aqua. And now they kind of look more like, I'm just going to look in the mirror here. They look green.
Mine
really green. Like they went from aqua to like bright green.
Yeah, Theresa was saying, what were you saying, Theresa, about your eyes?
Yes, remember I was showing you pictures one time that my eyes kept changing colors on me?
Yeah, you were showing me.
Remember? Mine turned from like a dark brown, which they normally are, and they turn like really light green sometimes, and then they turn like a grayish blue. Actually, I was trying to find a picture to show you. God, there's so many questions I want to ask her. You know?
Oh no, ask away.
What about the 6 holes in the skull? When did that happen?
Yeah, show her that new change. Show her that. Our skull changed again.
For me, I noticed that and discussed it with one of my researchers, Eric Michael, because we really keep on track on certain things. We all kind of go off and research. He researches statues and different landmarks to see if anything's popped up that's new that wasn't there before in animals. And I go into anatomy and all this other junk. And we noticed the skull change, and that was around May. This is just before I started the group. And he and I were friends discussing these things and posting. And I had a client that is a mortician. And we posted about the first skull holes and stuff like that, and about the reptilian brain stems, all these things. And she said, "You're crazy. What's wrong with you, Kiera? It was always like that." And she got kind of like that.
What?
Nasty.
Yeah.
So I took screenshots and discussed it with her and said, it's part of, you know, how I'm doing like parallel things and all these different changes and Berenstain Bears and other examples to her. And she calmed down and she left it. Then we saw more holes appear. There was like 8 holes, and then there's all this other changes. I posted again, excited, and I tagged her. Guess what she said? It's always been that way. And I said, yes, but last time you said it's always had just a 6 and blah, blah, blah. And she got extremely aggressive, nasty, and then blocked me. And
I've had
like,
people.
yeah. See, my theory is the majority of, for doctors and anyone to do with anatomy, they are going to always stay their consciousness within that reality that makes sense to their job position. Otherwise, what's the surgeon going to do? Open up and go, heart's in the center now. Well, geez, that's odd. So I feel like for some reason, I don't know how it happens exactly. It's all theory. They literally, their consciousness will always shift where it's supposed to. So they're in that reality that makes their job position. Whether that's God, whatever it is that's causing it that they have to. I have bumped into very few, including my mom, who's a retired nurse, who agreed that the heart was off to the left side more. You know what I'm saying? So it seems like if they've been retired at least 10 years or more, they tend to agree with the old world residue, we'll call it. Otherwise, if they're still within these job positions, they get aggressive and they say you're crazy, and it never was.
I wanted to ask you something. Well, Theresa, did you have something to ask?
Yeah, it was weird. I'm sitting looking on my phone to find some residue, and an article pops up, and guess what it says? Procter and Gamble, like thrown right in my face.
Well, how is it supposed to be spelled? What?
I don't know. It's like this Mandela screws with your head. This one's spelled Procter.
Right. And how about what's interesting to me, and I think Moneybags has brought this up on his channel before too, is how, Moneybags 73, he's like one of the leading experts in the Mandela field.
Yeah.
So he was showing like an article where like Procter and Gamble was spelled with an ER, and then another section of the article was spelled with an OR. It's like they can't get consistency to AI.
I remember the OR. What do you guys remember?
I remember OR, really. I don't know.
I'd say OR the longest, but I have seen both.
It's like that one.
Hey Brian, you should show the Fruit Loops live video. I don't know did you ever watch that?
Which one?
That we did.
Oh, the voodoo, where we called voodoo.
Yeah, tell her about that. That was awesome. Tell her what we did. Remember?
You want to hear that one? If I can find it, I'll play it, Kiera. You want to hear?
Oh my gosh, Kiera, this is awesome. You know how the Fruit Loops is now FROOT, and we all remember FRUIT.
I saw it changed in 2010, and I thought it was just a cutesy thing for kids. I didn't even pay attention.
Wait till you see this video. Brian and I don't know if you can find it.
I can find it.
I found this. I was looking online and I found this donut store that they sell actually. It's called Voodoo Donuts, and they have a couple, it's like a chain of donut stores, and there's a few of them in different places. And I happened to be looking at the menu, and I saw Fruit Loops, and guess how it was spelled? The correct way.
RUIT?
Yes, it's even on the menu. I don't know if Brian, you can bring it up and show her. And
I've got it.
So
right
I said,
here.
Brian, we got to do a live call. And will you play it for her?
Awesome. I look forward to coming out to your store. Where are you located at? And you're
Hold on.
right? Got them? The Fruit Loops? The one that's covered in Fruit Loops, or the bar with the Fruit Loops? Yes, right. The Fruit Loops that are on the donuts, the little Fruit Loops, the cereal. The one that's on a bar, or the one that's round? The round donut, the round one. Okay. What about it? Can I ask a question? Yes. Your Fruit Loops, the spelling on the menu, your menus are correct, right? Yes. Okay. The Fruit Loops are spelled FRUIT, correct? Fruit Loops? Yeah. Okay. I wanted to make sure of that. It is FRUITLOOPS, correct? Yeah. Awesome. We definitely want to come and try your Fruit Loops donuts. I've never had them before. Okay. And they're really hard to find. And these are based on the cereal, right?
I don't know. Like that one was so funny.
Unbelievable.
I'm glad we did it.
And I spell it like what? How many times do I spell it to her?
Like 3 times. And I don't know if she was just if she remembered it that way, or if she was just trying to make us happy. I don't know.
No, she literally. That's probably because she's not affected, so she sees it the way that she remembers it.
Well, how about this? How about this? I know of someone. She lived in Australia. She was born there, and she remembers Sydney being the capital.
Wow, that's awesome. I remember that.
Yeah, isn't Sydney the capital?
No, Sydney is not the capital of Canberra.
I can't say it.
Really?
What is it?
Canberra, Canberra. I better double check that in case it changes to 1 R. Hang on.
Hey, Brian, I want to ask Kiera a question from one residue hunter to another.
Okay.
Or go ahead.
Having the Mandela effect, I've only had it a year. Mine changed for me when I discovered my Skechers changed spelling on me, and I remember the T. I don't know if you remember the T. The Skechers?
I saw it on the shopping channel here in Canada, and I was like, why did they get rid of the T? And that was just before I realized that it was
is what woke me up in December of, it's been a year for me. December of 2016 is when I woke up. In the last since you've been awake a lot longer than me. Have you ever experienced watching Residue physically in real time change? Like in real time?
Recently, that just happened again to me. I found residue of the monument for the Lincoln Memorial, and I posted it. I was all excited, and the feet were flat, and the hands were flat, and I was like, "This is why I remembered it when I saw it in Washington," and all excited, and people were like, "Yeah, oh, that's it. Oh, that's so cool. You found that." And I was like, "Okay, cool. You guys agree. You remember it like that. It makes you feel, that's insane." And then all of a sudden, one of the girls said to me, "Whoa, wait, I just looked at it, and now his one foot's up." And I went back and I looked at the picture I have posted, and sure enough, the one foot looks a little more forward and up, and the one hand
oh my God,
could look to me now like it's going into a fist. And I'm like, "Oh, don't you dare. You need to stay the way you were when I found you." But no, it will happen. It can happen right in front of your freaking eyes, especially at grocery stores. Grocery stores and Walmart can be a very scary place for someone who's awake. It's like our frequencies, I think, because I work with frequencies, I think that's another reason with like dimensional beings and stuff. Some people like raise your hand if you've seen a shadow person, and then you've seen them disappear. It's because we vibrate on a certain frequency, and if we get into their frequency, we will physically be like, "Oh, there they are, I see them." And then as soon as you start to get scared and go out of the frequency, they disappear. So I believe a lot of this shifting is literally the raising of our consciousness and shifting vibrations into the closest avatar, where, like, for instance, my hands are now like, yes, hi, cat. Sorry, my cat's saying hello. Anyways, like, our hands have changed, and phones and everything. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I think we literally are just moving along different avatars. I'm afraid I'm going to wake up one day and look like a raptor, though. I don't know how my boss would like that.
Well, there's this movie that's coming out in theaters, I think, or maybe it is already. I saw the previews for it, which is kind of interesting with the whole Mandela effect and people changing all around you. So anyway, this one boy, every day he wakes up in a different person's body, right? And he falls in love with the same girl every time. I thought it was kind of cute. Yeah, it's a good romantic love story. But it
sounds kind of like Quantum Leap meets something there.
Hey,
I think it's
Kiera?
We talk about quantum entanglement a lot, So
I want to, Brian, you tell her. I've had a lot of bizarre things happen to me, Brian, and you want to tell her. Well, I want to tell her about the restaurant one. The girl's shirt. Remember that one? And I want to tell her about the seashell one. You want to tell her about that one? That's been kind of weird.
It's your story. It's up to you. You can tell it. Go ahead.
I was on the phone with Brian, and I had my TV on, but I was playing like a DVD movie, and I paused it because I was trying to listen to what Brian was saying. And next to my TV, I have like a fish tank, but I have like sand in there, and I have hermit crabs. And on the very top, I have like a bowl of seashells because they change into shells, and I like to put them in there. And I'm sitting there on the phone talking to Brian at the corner of my living room next to my couch, because sometimes I like to sit on the floor. And in front of me was a TV at a distance, and then a room with my washing machine and dryer with the door that, opens to go in it. And all of a sudden, a seashell went flying across the room and hit the door and fell. And Brian heard it. Yep. Right, Brian?
It made a big thump.
Yeah. I had a seashell just literally fly across the room, like at least maybe 10 to 15 feet, because let's see, I'm going to say at least 12 to 15 feet, maybe a little bit longer. Hit the door, because the door was almost closed, and fell down. And
right. Boom. It didn't shatter. It didn't sound like it shattered. It just...
No, it was more like it flew.
Moving, kind of like a flying, but it didn't go that fast enough to...
It went like horizontal.
I guess. I wouldn't know. I wasn't there, but I heard
mermaid or something? Like, what happened there?
Huh?
You ticked off a ghost mermaid, didn't you?
Hey, can I ask a question? This is going to sound really bizarre. What sign are you?
Gemini.
Ah, oh my God. I'm your opposite sign. Our signs don't get along. And I'll give you one guess who it is.
She's opposite for me.
No. She doesn't get along with my sign.
Oh,
one of my ex bosses was that sign.
With Taurus.
I'm a Scorpio.
Like to butt heads with me, but otherwise.
You know what I'm talking? You know about Scorpios? We're not supposed to get along with Geminis.
Are you sure?
My son's Scorpio, and one of my best friends is Scorpio.
Really? When's their birthday? I'm just curious.
Probably since the shift.
November 7th for my son, and November 8th for my best friend.
Oh, I'm November 12th.
Hey, do you know any Sages?
Yes, I do.
Josh, he's a Sag, isn't he?
I get along great.
Wow.
I get along actually great with everybody, unless they want to be an ass to me. Otherwise, I'm fine.
Well,
I'm one of those really nice, but if you bite my hand, I will politely, leave.
So, how many people do you woke up with the effect? And then, Theresa, you can take your question next.
Okay, sorry. It's just nice meeting another residue hunter.
It is. It's awesome. Yeah, I'll have to. If you're not,
were you aware of me? I wasn't aware of you, and I don't know if have I ever talked to you in any chat rooms or anything. I'm just curious. Have we ever crossed paths?
No, I've hardly. I've only been. I was on this chat room once before just to say hello to everybody and stuff, and on Bias and All the Fence. Otherwise, I really haven't done chat rooms.
No. But like on Facebook, have you ever seen me on Facebook? Because I've been off about 7 or 8 months, and I recently just got a new phone, and now I have all this extra storage, so I'm back on Facebook. And I don't even know if I belong to your group. I wanted to check and see if not, I do want to join it. And I wanted you to send me a link or send it to Brian, or I'd love to get on it.
I saw you. Yeah, it's Mandela Effect Researchers.
Mandela Effect.
Am I on it?
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure I saw you.
I think I'm in it too. Let me check. I should be in it.
Have I posted on it recently? Because I posted like a picture of my sky. It was really bizarre, and I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah,
it was like really freaky. Was that you?
Yep, that's me.
You saw the sky then? Because it was like it was like the when I got out of work, I was walking to the corner and I looked across the street and there was like a storage place, and I looked above it and I said, these clouds are really low, and they were like dark spotted, clouds. But then when you looked above it, it's like half the sky was erased. There's like literally a line across the sky. And I'm like, what the heck is that? And Brian knows now, whenever I see anything bizarre in the sky, I take pictures now.
People are calling it like sky matrix breaks and stuff like that.
You seen it then? You saw my picture?
It got painted later. It's really weird.
And another thing I seen, Brian, do you still have that picture of the city in the sky? Remember I had it was like a shape of a city? You still have that picture you can show her?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think that was in Taiwan or something.
Yeah.
No, I actually seen it in February of 2016? When did I see it, Brian? Or was it? No, it was actually last year.
Right.
February 9th. 2017, because I get a ride home because I don't have a car, and I live pretty much like 15 minutes from where I work, walking distance. And my boss dropped me off, who's also my friend, and I'm standing there looking up at the sky, and I'm looking, and I'm looking, and I'm like, what the heck is up there? And people are driving, not even paying attention, and I'm looking up there, and I'm like, oh my God, I can literally, Kiera, see a shape of like a skyline in the sky. Like literally I could see the shape of the skyscrapers. I could see like different shapes up there, and I'm looking thinking, okay, I'm not hallucinating. I can clearly see it. And I took pictures and I sent it to Brian. I've also witnessed seeing it like 3 or 4 times. Sometimes it looks like a castle, and sometimes it looks like the city, like a city thing. And you can clearly see that that's what you're looking at. It's not even shaped like a cloud. And I've taken pictures and sent it to Brian. And now that I have a better phone, I'm even going to be able to get better pictures next time I see something, strange again. And and by the way, I live in Las Vegas. I've
seen 2 suns. Have you guys seen 2 suns yet in the sky? And it wasn't a sun dog. It was
not yet. Not yet.
One was not on the.
What part of the world do you live in?
I'm in Ontario, Canada.
Oh, you're in Canada. Oh, that's cool. Because we come from all over.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, we do.
You know Seeker?
Doesn't Seeker live in Canada? Seeker?
Seeker lives in Canada. And
Brian. Seeker?
Seeker of Truth, yeah.
You know him? He lives in Canada, but I don't know what part.
Oh man, you guys should totally do like a meetup or something, like for the Canadian.
Wow. Yeah, but Canada's big.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, with my group, you were asking before about awakening people. It's really weird because I started before I decided to do a group. I was waking people up on my actual Facebook. I was posting everything from the mirror to magic mirror to whatever, and I made a bunch of different little memes with the 2 different versions, and that's what I was doing. If you look at my like mobile posts, that's all it is me posting different versions of different products and different things to show people. And then when they were like picking the old reality, I would be like, oh, well, guess what? It's no longer the Puff Marshmallow Man, it's the Poof Marshmallow Man.
Oh, show the marshmallow thing, Brian.
Yeah, there's a residue that Theresa sent me with it actually says Marshmallow, the name of a group, I think. Is that the one? Theresa, you there?
I think a seashell knocked her out.
Theresa by the seashore. Hey, so yeah, she was showing me this residue about marshmallow.
Yeah.
What do you remember? Was it spelled with an A or an E? And just be honest with me. I'm not going to tear you up if you're not matching up with my memory. What do you remember?
For marshmallow, I've seen it like you're mellow. Like as in.
Thank you. She remembers.
Mellow yellow, kind of like that.
I've seen it with an E before.
There's another residue here of cup of noodles. In fact, one of the guys I work with, I was eating this one day, cup noodles, and he comes up to me and says, "Wait a second, is that cup of noodles?" And I was shocked. And this is a guy, he's very much affected by the effect. And because I've asked him other things too, of course, and he seems to line up with that. His patience is very, I mean, his patience is like a saint with some of these effects too. Because not everyone is going to pay attention to these things. There's a lot of hostility, like you said, toward the effect.
Oh, yeah.
But, you know, you got to find people who are like open-minded about it. You know, that this reality is not what we think it is. That's my take on it. You look at Monopoly Man. Here's residue that Theresa sent me. This is from College Debt Trap New HD documentary, 2016. When you watch that video, about 50 seconds in, you'll see the Monopoly guy with a monocle, and he doesn't have that band across his hat.
You found it good.
Yeah, and supposedly, you know, he's never had the monocle in this reality. It's just weird.
I know, and I saw that change. My daughter loves that game, and when she got a brand new one for Christmas, I did you know what I mean? Like, it's just an update to the character. And I knew there had always been, you know.
Oh, there you are.
Always been this monocle, and, you know, things do change a lot. And I try to sit there and think, okay, first of all, is it a logo change? Because I'll get people posting in my group. And the first thing I do is go out and look for residue, look for the logo histories to see, was it just a change by the company? And about 90% of the time, it wasn't a change by the company.
Well, speaking of companies changing their products, okay, there's two things I want to mention here. Skittles. Okay, I know I brought this up before on my channel. There was
about the strawberry one?
Yes.
It's strawberry now?
Yeah, there was documentation on the green changing from lime to green apple, but never was there documentation from cherry to strawberry. In fact, I remember loving strawberry flavored so much that you had to buy the purple pack to get the strawberry flavored Skittles.
Yep.
That's how I remembered it. And in case you guys are wondering who this is Theresa's father. In memory of her father who died today. So I just wanted to.
Aww. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, his no, actually he didn't die today. His birthday's today.
His birthday was today. Sorry.
I'm sorry about that. That's okay. He died January 10th, 2002, but his birthday is today, if he would have been alive.
Oh.
Yeah. Sorry. I was looking. So I'm a little kind of down today because, you know, his birthday and everything. I don't forget numbers and stuff like that. For some reason, they stay with me a lot, like dates and stuff. Does that happen to you, Kiera, with numbers?
Wait, what?
I think as we're sending people like us, we do tend to retain, these dates and these memories for a reason.
23. I don't know what's going on with 23 and 1s and 3s.
23 and...
That totally echoed.
Can you guys hear me?
I can hear you, yes.
Okay, so another one, and may I say, Theresa, your dad, rest in peace, okay?
Well, thank you. I'm sorry. I've completely forgot about it. I woke up and I've been like, something is off today.
Well,
and then I remembered.
You feel like his presence is there with you sometimes, even though you're
yes, actually I do. Kiera, are you an empath?
Yes.
So am I. Oh my gosh. And I bet she has the Emma on her hand too.
Yes, I do.
Oh my God. Do you have it on your, mine's on my right hand, but not on my left.
I have it on both hands. I have an M.
Wow. I think a lot of us people with the Mandela effect, I think a lot of us are empaths or we have some kind of special spiritual connection. Does that make sense? Wow.
Yes, there's a connection like you can feel things more strongly than most people would probably feel. You definitely don't feel robotic at all, I'm sure.
No. And I can tell whenever someone close to me is hurting or has had an issue, I get visions sometimes of something that has happened to them. And one girl I know very well, only through Facebook, I've never met her face to face. And we tease and call each other soul sisters because we can always sense when something's going on. She contacted me on my birthday, and then a couple days passed after my birthday, and I had this pulse. Something was wrong, and it really bothered me. And I contacted her page, and I said, listen, are you okay? What's going on? I got this really sickening, worried vibe about you, and it just bothered me. And she wrote me, she said, oh, I was just in a car accident, and I'm pretty shooken up, and I have this wrong, and husband has this wrong, and yeah, you were right, because I had predicted a car accident before. I said, had you been in a car accident? And she said, no, I've never been in a car accident. And I said, okay, well, because I do readings. And I said, are you sure? Because I keep seeing this car accident. And she's like, no, never. And I said something about drowning, and she forgot about it and said, yeah, I know I did almost drown as a child, blah, blah. So it's like it turned its head. So my precog happened for her. And what I had seen about the car accident happened, freaked her out. And for a few days, she debated on contacting me about it. But I contacted her first. And that freaked her out even more than her holding the information from me. Do you know what I'm saying? So I've always had that gift even as a child. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I've always been able to predict something bad's going to happen, or, there's a difference between I shouldn't put that glass near the edge because it might fall off. And then when it falls off, you're like, dang, I should have moved that glass type precog compared to the precog of a good friend getting in car accidents. I'm the type of person that I've always had the dreams of precog before it happens, and I usually have the dream repeat 3 times, and it's always people that are close to me. I hardly ever see anything for myself. I see it for others. So I won't be playing the lottery anytime soon. Let's just put it that way.
Oh gosh. Wow.
I'm trying to
I just got a sad message from somebody. This is like too freaky. You know how my father's birthday is today?
Yeah.
Yes.
My friend just texted me and told me that one of his friends that we used to visit in the hospital passed away today. Some universe has been acting really weird today. I don't know what it is. From the time I woke up, guys, today, it's like whatever would be going wrong has been going wrong. I don't know. It's just, it feels like an off day today. I don't know if the energy's all wrong, but I usually have really good days, and today it's been like a really bad day.
Depression, though, so you're lowering your frequencies, and if you lower your frequencies, you're going to bring in negative. So you're going to have to.
I must be bringing in a lot of negativity today
with your dad instead of the negative. So think of great past birthdays with him and things like that, and raise your frequencies, and your luck will pick up, and you'll have less of that possible toe stubbing, if you know what I'm saying.
Well, it's just been like, and I mean, I'm usually right, Brian? I'm usually a very positive, happy person, right, Brian?
Yes. Yes,
and today it's just been one thing after another. I mean, when I woke up, you know, I was trying to block out the date today, and part of my mind did not want to remember that today's my dad's birthday, who's been passed away since 2002. And I kind of blocked it out of my mind. I guess I didn't want to remember it. And then I go to work, and then I had my keyboard switched out, a brand new keyboard, which was a good thing. And then I couldn't get my mouse to work, and I find out it's a stupid mouse pad that I switched out. So I'm getting all upset. And then another thing happened. I got blamed for something that I didn't do. And it's just like, I just want to start over again tomorrow. You know what I mean?
You can start over right now. Literally, just take a breath. Literally think of all the good things that came out of your dad's birthdays in the past. Different things that make you happy. Listen to music that makes you happy. Start raising your frequency, and you can start turning around even the last moments before bed. And if you practice meditation at all, that will help too. Just literally just raise your frequency. It's the best thing you can do, because in a room of negative people, when you were like so happy and in a good mood, and you go in and they're all sitting there with sneers on their faces, negative about their personal lives, bringing it to work, it starts to lower the path. It will, like a sponge, lower your frequency, and it's hard to shake it off. Half the time I feel like John Coffey from freaking the Green Mile, and I need to go just get rid of that negative energy, because I feel like I've been a sponge all day absorbing it, because that's what happens.
Oh my God.
Online, I absorb it. That's why I'm a troll-free zone. As soon as the trolls start, they're gone.
Actually, I just found you, and I sent you a friend request. Did you see that?
What was that?
I found you.
Yeah, I know. I already accepted your friend request. I saw you. I saw you holding.
No, I'm just saying is I belong to this already, this group, and I didn't realize that.
Oh. Okay.
This group. I think I do.
I have a question, Brian. I have a question for you. Do you recall Al Capone dying in jail or at home?
That's a tough one. That one I'm not 100% on. But I would probably have to say he died in his home, no?
Yeah, he did in this reality, but I know for a fact from my reality that...
I was just guessing. I mean, that was just... I'll be honest with you. If I don't know something, I'll just say I don't know, and I'll take a guess. I don't know.
Oh, I don't even take a guess, because guessing could come off like, you know, what I'm saying?
Oh. Josh, Speed belongs to your Facebook group too, right? Life Matrix?
Yes. Yes.
Hey, let me ask you something.
You know Life Matrix then?
Yes. Can I ask you something real quick about...
Sure.
Okay, there's this new movie coming out this year. Normally when movies come out, you see like a big trailer. Comes out like probably 6 months before the movie comes out. You know, I'm waiting to see the trailer. Now I know the guy who is directing it, David Guy Levy, which I'm supposed to be interviewing him on the movie.
Okay.
My question is, well, have you heard anything about it so far up to this point? I mean, other than the fact that there was going to be a 2018 movie.
Nope, nothing really at all.
I mean, I kind of feel like it's
I'm
been hushed out a
in
little
the
bit.
entertainment business, and I haven't heard like
Oh my
anything
gosh.
really. I'm one of the first people that hears about this stuff, and I haven't heard anything. I knew
Wow.
about that Mandela episode that was going to be aired. That was a farce.
Oh,
X-Files.
are you an actress? Are you an actress?
Yeah, I do. I hate saying actress in a way because I don't want to be one of those, like, even if the Illuminati came up to me tomorrow and said, hey, you can get a starring role in whatever, I'm a background actress and a feature actress. So
oh, then you know what? You might have, I was on a show and I don't know. Do you have a good memory for shows?
What was it? Who now? I didn't hear you. Sorry.
I was on a show in 2007. Do you remember a show that was called Taquita and Cowie? About a black girl and a blonde girl. They were on Making the Band on MTV, and they got eliminated. And they can't. Do you remember the show Taquita and Cowie?
Yes, I know which one.
Do you remember the quirky neighbor on the second show, the dark-haired girl?
I wouldn't have watched it really of it. It wasn't something.
I was on the second show.
That's cool. I'll have to try to find it on YouTube or something.
Yes, Legends in the Making. Yeah, I was a quirky neighbor, but I didn't get paid for doing it because I signed like a contract and I didn't have a Screen Actors Guild card. But it was really fun doing it, though. I enjoyed it.
Here it's ACTRA and stuff for Canada, but Degrassi, The Next Generation, and a show called Instant Star that was just like 4 seasons long, and various things. A movie called Homie Spinomi. Suicide Squad. I know Jared somewhat. Stuff like that. I've done background work. There's pictures in like my albums and that you can take a look at, or my fan page for Kiera Winters. But otherwise, no. And I do voiceovers and things like that, and some puppeteering.
Oh, cool.
So kind of a bunch of different things. And the real job for me though is personal training. That's my bread and butter, really. I run an animal rescue and do a bunch of other things. I work like 12-hour days. Like,
oh, wow. So you do a lot of, you said you help people work out a lot? Like, is that what you mean by personal training?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because I do on the side fitness modeling and stuff. Not so much recently, but more so last summer. But
what kind of advice can you give to a person like me? I'm overweight. I'm 5'6", and I weigh about 230, 240, somewhere around there. It fluctuates with low blood sugar that's constantly wanting to eat all the time and drink Pepsis and everything. And I can't keep my weight down because my blood sugar is always low. And if I try to eat something healthy, then my blood sugar is still too low. And I can't get back to the weight I used to be, which was like in the hundreds, like 140, 150. Because of my blood sugar wanting me to always,
we'll have to talk.
You know what I mean?
There's issues with thyroid as well, but yeah, it's literally you're messing with your own chemistry.
Yeah.
And especially with Pepsi. So
You're not.
We'll talk offline about that, but I can try to help you with it.
Can I ask? Hey Brian, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
And I explained to Brian what happened. My pre-awakening. Do you remember how you were before you woke up? Because I do. I remember everything. Do you remember being different before you woke up? How you were feeling?
Are you talking to me or Brian? Me?
Right, you.
Oh, me. Okay. You know what? I was a teenager when I woke up. So.
Oh wow. Like can I tell you something really bizarre? Like.
To McDonald's and seeing that the name changed, and I was very confused by it. And I don't know if you guys remember, but there was a popular song by Cat Stevens, "The Cat's in the Cradle,"
and the
now
Silver Spoon
that doesn't exist. So I mean, there's been so many things that have been taken from my youth and stuff that no longer exist, including doing essays and talking about the JFK thing. That I feel like, in a weird way, all those things that annoyed me in school and all those little things that, even the Nelson Mandela thing, dying 3 times for me, where you're like, he died before. Oh, I must have misheard that. Oh, but now there's hoaxes and stuff that just confuses the masses even more, because they can be like, oh, that was just a hoax. You know what I'm trying to say? So for me, I feel like I've always been awake, so I don't really remember a before.
Oh, see, for me it's different. Before I woke up, I was telling Brian that I remember probably months before I woke up feeling off, like everything was like, I don't know how to explain this, but it's going to sound really weird. You know what jet lag feels like? You know, when you've been on an airplane and you get off and you know you physically are there, but you don't feel like the rest of you is caught up with you. Does that make sense?
When I used to do pro wrestling, yeah, I told you I've done everything, but when I used to do pro wrestling, literally it was like that. You would feel kind of like yeah, I know what you mean, and the time differences.
Yeah, and I told Brian, I said before I woke up, I felt really off. Like nothing was clear to me. Like I felt like, how do I explain this? Like I couldn't focus, and I would look up at the sky and I'd be like, everything felt off, like fake. And I knew that nothing was real, but yet I couldn't wake up and see the truth. And I knew it there because I would look around like, I don't feel like I fit in here. These people around me are not real. They just feel like they're just playing a part. And when I finally did wake up, everything became so clearer. But I'm not, and this is what makes me upset, Kiera. I am not the same person who I was before I woke up. I was more bubblier. I was more happier. I was in my little fantasy world. And now that I'm awake, everything is so much harder, Kiera. It's hard. You know?
Harder, and I find it's even more so hard when you think about, and yes, 11:15 is fine. I can't get on my messenger, Brian.
Okay.
Anyways, literally, all I can say to that is, over a year ago, when I saw a friend's son die again, and when she posted about the hardest thing is burying her son and blah, 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 and I saw the same people giving her condolences that gave condolences the same time I did back in the December, not in the April. I saw white. I couldn't eat for like a week. I had a hard time even taking, and I'm an eater. I eat like 6 times a day. I felt so lost, so depressed. And when I saw the Thinker statue change again and other things that just floored me to know that this was happening,
I
felt lost.
I got to ask you, how do you remember the original Thinker?
Oh, 100%. He had his, okay, for pro bodybuilding, the way that you'll find the Thinker pose with Arnold Schwarzenegger, if you can pull that up, that's how I remember it, with that kind of leaning down, the hand fist to the third eye, and that's how I recall it. Not this.
Yes.
One that was under the chin, and not the one where he's now sucking his knuckles. That I've seen it change now twice.
Wow.
Oh, okay. I think I see where he's like sitting on a rock. Hang on.
Yeah.
I think this is
if
it,
you
right?
Look up Arnold Schwarzenegger doing the Thinkers.
Yes,
pose,
he's doing the Thinker
he
pose.
decided to do that. Yeah.
This is it right here.
To me, that's Residue right there.
Yeah. Arnold doing the Thinker. See that?
Yes.
And now he's going across his body with his right elbow on his left knee, and he's munching on his knuckles. Not Arnold, I mean the Thinker, of course. But he's also got this weird looking Smurf kind of hat too.
Yeah, I know it's changed. It's almost, I don't know if that's supposed to be his hair or hat. What is that? Because I just noticed that the other day that it's over more. It's almost like a cowlick. It's like it's this weird, I don't know, it's changed. And I'm telling you, pretty soon he's going to have his whole fist in his mouth like a baby that's lost. It's getting ridiculous. It'll be a Suki next week.
Oh man, I don't know.
Hey Brian, did you will you show her the residue from the magazine that I got at the library? You remember the reenactment?
The reenactment of what?
You remember the 1995 magazine? I took a picture of the cover, and it was called American Heritage. Remember? Show her that.
All right, if I can, I'll find that real quick.
Okay. Really cool, Kiera. I like to go to the library.
Oh yeah.
Bookstore, and everything in there is stuff that people has donated, and they sell like paperback books, magazines, hardback books, maps, all kinds of everything, and everything is dirt cheap. And I bought these magazines and called American Heritage, and one of them's from 1995, and it shows the picture of the reenactment from the Kennedy assassination. And when they show the cover, it literally says what Oswald's seen through his what do you call it? The gun with the round thing, when you look through it.
Barrel, yeah.
Yes. And it shows 4 people in the car, and it literally says on the magazine what Oswald's seen through his thing. And it freaked me out. And I took a picture and I sent it to Brian. And it was an old magazine from, like I said, American Heritage.
I'm trying to remember.
Was 1995.
Theresa, was it this past weekend?
I have that under my mobile. I have a copy of that too.
Oh, you've seen it? Okay. But yeah, that was the magazine that was from. And I was like, oh my God. I mean, even the magazine people remembered 4 people. And I don't understand who is playing with our history. I mean, we know it was 4 people, but yet we're seeing 6 people. And it's just crazy. And that's one of the ones that makes me upset. Because because of my age, I'm 54.
I remember.
I was born 11/12/63, like literally 2 weeks before it happened. So I grew up, remembering all this information because, like I said, it was 2 weeks before it happened.
Well, what's interesting here, I have a picture of Life magazine's picture, and I know there's the one too about the gun barrel, but this shows there was. You see how many seats there are here? Look, count them.
Wow.
How many seats are in that car? Assassination Kennedy, covered by Life magazine. Now I find it strange enough that Life magazine is the one who originally had the recording, the video and the audio recording of the assassination going on, and then they supposedly lost it. So then they went with the Zapruder film. So I don't know. There's a lot of speculation when it comes. People have debated over the Kennedy thing for a while now. I actually have this book. I own this book here.
Oh yeah, that one. Yeah. Is that the one called 4 Days? Is it 4 Days?
4 days, yes.
Yes, I saw that one time, like months ago, at a antique store. And I saw the book. I was going to buy it. I should have bought it. It was like $9 or $10 because it was used. And now I wish I would have bought it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Is this the one with the museum? Yes. That is the car in the museum.
Wow.
There's 4 seats. So.
Wow.
Why would they get that wrong in the museum?
Right. And the car, they show the 4 people in it, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So what's another big Mandela for you?
Lindbergh baby, all day long, all night. That one literally was one of last year that just.
I would go crazy talking to her. Try to get Ty on the phone, Brian. Ty would go. Ty would love to talk to you about the Lindbergh. You can go on and on with that one.
You guys mind if I
try to get Ty in?
Go ahead.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah, you guys would go crazy talking about that one. I don't know much about that one. That's not one of the ones.
It's just ringing. So he's probably tied up right now.
Can you get Troy in? Troy's cool.
Ty's tied up right now. Yeah, Troy. I can try Troy.
All right, he's cool. He would love to get in. Do you know Troy? Kiera?
Yes.
Troy.
All right, cool.
You know Troy Austin?
He goes by Tobias too. Kiera, he goes by Tobias too.
Yeah, like the names and stuff. I know.
Yeah, I know it's kind of
like,
late for people.
No.
Yeah, so I guess we'll have to.
You can't get him in. I'm texting him now.
Try to message Ty if you can. Tell him we got Kiera in here for a few more minutes.
Okay.
To be able to. Yeah, Kiera, we'd love you to be part of our group. You know, like.
Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Wait, you mean I wasn't already? Oh, for shame.
This Friday we're supposed to. I'm trying to get Bluebeard to come on Friday with us. That would be awesome. If we can get Bluebeard and Jynx Cat would be amazing because they would be just.
Does she know Meegs?
You know Meegs.
You've heard of Meegs?
Yeah, I've heard of. I've never met. I've heard of. That's the one where's a toque or something.
She's the one who does all the Bible changes.
Yeah, she wears.
Yes.
Wait, Troy's calling me back. Troy's here.
Oh, awesome! She's the one who goes, "Hello, guys."
Troy.
Trying to imitate her.
Okay, you know how we have Theresa's our residue queen on my end. We're right now we're talking with Lazlow's Theresa.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah, it's amazing.
Do you know Lazlow, Kiera?
No, it's Kiera. Hey, Troy, you're on the air. Say hi.
Hello there. How is everybody?
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. Cool. What part of the conversation are we talking about? What can I go ahead and just jump on in and commandeer this conversation?
We were talking.
Just jump on in. Why not? I mean, the more the merrier. We can talk over each other if we have to.
Yeah, we were talking, Ty. We were talking about the Lindbergh baby and what Kiera resonates with that one pretty strongly, and I know you and Ty do also.
Yep, absolutely.
That one drives me insane, and when I tell people about it, and they're like, if I talk to somebody, and let's just put it this way, this guy I'd known for a long time, like we're talking like high school, and he had such a personality change that I instantly said, so, was the Lindbergh baby found or not found? Who cares? No, excuse me, I need to know, was the Lindbergh baby found or not found? And when he said, I don't know what that is, I'm not kidding. I was like, remove friend. You're not the same person. I can't handle this crap. Because that was such a big mystery, and it was so much a part of all those mystery shows, the Who Done It, even like all the residue you can find in everything from Family Guy to The Simpsons. I mean, it's there.
Yep.
So that's just,
you're 100% right.
There's too much proof to tell me that what I recall, it was how it was for me and so many others. We're talking thousands.
You know what's really funny is that now we actually are able to identify the exact person who had kidnapped and murdered this little baby. You know, it's almost like, we found out the who done it. We know who did it now.
What bothers me. That's what bothers me. I would have liked to have thought that poor little baby grew up. It's that
I'm waiting to get moved back to my timeline so I can shout it from the freaking rooftops. I want everyone to know that it's Bruno Hauptmann, and I'll tell you, exactly where the guy's at, or who was it. So I mean, it's so weird now that all these things are coming to, coming to light. I mean, look, that plays right into the same type of scenario, so to speak, with Abraham Lincoln and John Wilkes Booth. Well, John Wilkes Booth, as far as I was concerned, was the guy that killed Abraham Lincoln single-handedly. Yeah, there was a talk about some other people that were involved, but guess what? I never knew there was 4 additional people that were hung to death, and another 4 people that were sentenced to life for conspiracy to commit murder, amongst other things. And then to boot, they take John Wilkes Booth's money on tour across America. Come on, guys, that's real. Never happened in my timeline.
It's like we're literally, pardon me, living this weird movie. And like these people, they turn on to like Young and the Restless or whatever. It's like, please live my life. Every day is a new soap opera. Finding out this information, trying to explain it to people, wake people up, seeing friends change, family change, name changes, all this. Even the Amelia Earhart, that was such a huge mystery. And now it's like, oh, she was kidnapped and killed, or what? It's like, well, we always wondered, did she end up on like an island and lived out her days there? Did she crash and die? It's like all these, like you said, the whodunits and what happens, we are getting answers to. And part of it's very scary to me, and the other part's just, wow, that's fascinating. It floors me.
Yeah, for sure. For sure, for me too. It's like, wow, okay, you know, because you're right. These things that were huge mysteries, everybody knew about it. Everybody did, or at least, you know, people from, you know, like, you know, all walks of life, just about. You know, everyone knew about it because they were so iconic. You know, and they were. It was kind of like a John F. Kennedy thing. You know, I mean, you know, that's just one thing that you just know throughout history. You know, you've seen the footage a million times. And then, you know, even like the footage now is like, you know, a heck of a lot better than it was before. Now it's color. You know, I remembered it in like black and white, like kind of super grainy. You know, it wasn't even really that good. And then now you see it like pretty clear. And in fact, the headshot is pretty wicked too. Taking a look at that. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but man, it's super gruesome. And I never remember seeing anything like that.
I've seen it change, but if you watch it really, really closely, you know, in The Matrix, how he says, or were you know, paying attention to the woman in the red dress? There's a hint there. If you watch that footage now and watch the woman in the red dress that's standing on the little molehill or whatever you want to call it, she glitches. And there's like a couple frames missing there. And it's really bothersome to me, whether government did it, whatever, whether it was all a red flag stage thing, who knows what happened back then for a fact. It'd be nice to find out, but if you watch the lady in the red dress, she glitches. There's a few frames missing. I'm telling you.
What?
And the way the blood
now I gotta see that.
The blood disappears.
No,
it
I didn't know
sprays
that.
out and disappears. It doesn't land.
You talking about on the Matrix?
Well, I gotta check. I gotta check that out too. You know, one other thing too that I thought was pretty weird is that the additional conspiracy that's now thrown into the mix is that Jackie potentially actually killed him because of the direction of the blood splatter, and it almost looks like she's putting something away in her purse.
Yes, I saw
It
that
really
too.
does. Yeah. It really does, and I think she will. When I've watched it, because I've actually watched it a few times, because I saw it change, and even the flowers, the way they blew out in the car, and that when they were all ducking in this new version, like today's new version, I've seen it change 3 times officially now.
How about how about that mole on Marilyn Monroe's face?
That drives me nuts.
And now she's
thinner now.
Look at her. She wasn't so voluptuous. She isn't voluptuous anymore.
That is so crazy.
Yep. Oh, yeah, she's actually like kind of skinny. Yep.
How about the 6 people? Actually, 5 out of 6 of the people from the Challenger explosion are still living today.
You know, they claim that these guys. I'm sorry to be interrupting. They claim that now that most of them had twins. Like, come on, man, really?
No.
Yeah, twins with the same name. Their parents really had a hard time deciding on names.
Right.
Like, give me a break.
Yeah, they said like something like, out of respect for their lost loved one, they kept their name or something. I'm like, come on, that's who does that? It's stupid. Nobody does that. Come on.
I watched that Challenger explosion in class, and we were all like devastated. It was like teacher ran over and shut it off. I mean, like it's
Yeah, that was in.
Yeah, there's a lot of weird stuff, including like now, like you probably know about like you've heard about the second moon. We found a second moon that's also orbiting Earth now too, right?
Yes, I heard about that.
Yeah. We got a mini moon.
I keep wondering what's going to happen next. Like, you know, what great effects are they going to do next?
You know,
I just keep waiting.
Some, like,
I keep waiting to like step aside myself
in there or something, and you know, we're gonna be like doing like tea parties with some aliens or something that's just always been around. What are you talking about? They do it like every 15 years. What are you talking about? We didn't have aliens. Kill them. You know, who knows? You know, we're gonna be having conversation with dogs. What do you mean? Dogs always talk. What are you talking about? Where have we been? Okay. Man, I'm losing it. Yeah, it's almost like a live version of like Rick and Morty. Some of these things. I'm telling you, it's so crazy.
So am I going to turn into a pickle? What are you talking about?
What's that?
I'm going to turn into a pickle next, and everyone's going to be like, please, Kiera, you've always been a pickle.
Oh, right, Pickle Rick. Oh, you watch? Oh God, I love that show. You know, my son's the one that got me into that. And you know what's so funny is that was I want to see if I can actually touch base with him. And you know what? There's a premise behind it, and and notice how he doesn't ever go to time travel. Okay, he never goes to time travel. In fact, he even says it in some of these cartoons that he creates that he goes, that wasn't time travel. That was just this. He's talking about the parallel universes, and he's talking about the things changing, how you bounce from one to the next. There was only, from what I understand, there's everything has a system. It's all set out, and there's actually a meaning to it. And somebody had actually guessed the meaning and like exposed everything really quick, but then he shut it down really quick and he addressed it. He says, "That's exactly right." And I was wondering, very, very curious, if he's referring to the Mandela effect just in a silly way.
Oh, probably. Why not?
That's one of the things. I absolutely believe that, and I'm going to see if I can get in touch with him. I'd love to. You know, I mean, you know, he's one of the guys that really is. I mean, if this is, you know, part of the ME, it's good to, you know, to know that somebody can actually have a sense of humor with it. You know, because it's so ridiculous and super funny. But on the same hand, it's like, you know, obviously he's addressed some things that were suspect to be in MEs. You know, it's like, I wonder if this guy really is, and I think that's the overall message that he's trying to portray. And I know we're kind of getting off topic a little bit, but, you know, essentially, I think that, you know, more people out there kind of keep it under wraps because of the controversial nature of it. Now, people can speculate that you're going freaking crazy if you have any, you know, belief in you know, that it's real. You know, that's the first thing people do when I start talking about it. They look at me with like, "Man, you are losing it. Yeah, you probably should go see a psychiatrist or something."
I got told don't drink the Kool-Aid. I've been told it always was like that. I get the so maybe they changed it. No. Here, see, look at the proof that it wasn't changed. Yeah, well, if it did change, what can I do about it? That's my favorite line, and it's like. It's like they're drones and it's pre-programmed in them to be a reaction.
Yep.
So what can I do about it?
Yep.
You're not curious.
Exactly.
You don't want to know the truth. You don't want to you know what I mean? Like I'm a researcher.
Right.
I want to dig. My nails are dirty from this rabbit hole, man. I want to know. And everybody else
Me too.
I'm just gonna go back to my show.
But you know what? I try not to go eyes wide and bugged out when I'm like approaching somebody. I mean, I'll drop a couple breadcrumbs and see if they bite. But you know, I know it can be overwhelming, and the shock, you know, the shock effect can send people running the other way, like, oh my God, overload. So you know, I mean, at least if I address it, you know, a couple things, you know, and point it out, you get the 3D reaction that we all had at one point in time of like, watch, you know, this is weird, and there's just gazing, but you can't beat them to death over it because then it becomes, you know, it's just overload. It's just way too much, you know, information overload to the contrary of what they believe. And I think there's a process, and if you as long as you get it out there, people will, you know, eventually come back and say, you know, it may not be tomorrow or a month from now, or maybe even a year from now. Who knows? But I think they're going to remember, you know, something like that, and you know, and come back inevitably. But at this point in time, there's not a lot we can do to really convince it. Basically, the people that are seeing it, that's it. You know, we want everyone to see it, but not everyone's going to see it.
No, they aren't. And they might not see it till their next lifetime or even the lifetime after that when they get recycled. Who knows?
And you know what? And the sad part is that, you know, it's been the ruin of a lot of great relationships between people. And because, you know, and that's the sad part is that, you know, with these, you know, and again, you know, who knows if they are the AIs that are pre-programmed. I mean, I tend to lean in that direction too, that they, you know, because, you know, when I do mention it to certain people, you know, the changes, all of a sudden they become the genius in the subject that they've never had anything to do with before in their lives. It's like, now you know everything about this. How did this happen? All of a sudden you just know. You know, that's very strange behavior. You know, you know, so, I mean, even from my own perspective, I mean, I went through a pretty bad, pretty bad breakup over this whole thing. I mean, you know, I didn't really quite notice that it was the ME at the time, but looking back, oh, absolutely. Oh, the person that I once knew, oh, that twinkle is gone, and it inserts drone, you know? It's like, whoa, this is really strange behavior on your part. And it didn't matter how much I tried to, you know, point things out or, you know, behaviors that were just awkward, you know, they shouldn't have been happening. Now I look back and go, oh, okay, that's why. Because that wasn't them.
100%.
And yeah, so it's like, you know, okay, well, you know, we just, you know, we just have to dust ourselves off and, you know, I guess as Lone Eagle would say, sally forth, right?
That's right. So I kind of wanted to bring this meeting to a close. It was really awesome. Thank you guys for coming together and breaking bread with me tonight. I appreciate that. And Kiera,
hey, I didn't get a piece. Where's my bread?
I'm glad I can help you tie the little bow on it.
Thanks. And Kiera, you know you're
Yes,
always
yes,
welcome. Okay.
Oh, that's perfect. Thank you.
I would like you if we have, I'll have to check, but maybe this week or next week possibly. Would that be all right?
Okay. Yeah, just let me know times and we'll work something out, and I'll make sure to put on a shirt.
All right. Sounds perfect.
Okay.
Very nice meeting you, Kiera. And was there somebody else on the line, or is it just Kiera?
Kiera and
Right.
Theresa. Teresa's also here. Theresa, you there?
Okay. Oh, cool. Hey, Theresa.
Hey, I'm here.
Okay.
It's one of those. It's one of those days. It's we're just feeling like we're hanging in there. But you know, I certainly. I mean, it's one of those things. Just. Like you want to see the next great change. Anyway, guys.
Well, it's like waiting for the next episode of Star Wars. What's coming next?
Exactly.
You know, I mean, how's it gonna rattle us?
Hey, Troy.
Come on.
Troy.
We're ready. You know, we're rubbing our hands together, going, "Come on, we're hungry."
Troy.
It isn't so much of a. I mean, it will always be a shock, but it'll never be to the point where it was in the very beginning, where you know it was absolutely, you know, undeniably, you know, something is going on, and I'm freaking. So, but yeah, now it's tapered off to that degree, and now, you know, for the most part, and I won't take too much time here, Brian. I know we're trying to wrap it up. You know, now I kind of look at it like this. You know, if somebody needs my help, you know, and kind of, you know, figuring things out, that's what I'm here for. You know, and I know how challenging it can be if someone's going through some difficult time. I'm here for them.
Perfect. That's how I feel too.
Well, Theresa, you have anything you wanted to say before we go?
Hey, Kiera, have you noticed the Mandela effects coming in stronger now, or do you think they just kind of been leveling out?
Talk to you later, bud. Thank you.
I think as
Thank
we
you for coming on.
more awake to them, we are going to see flooding of them. Lots of flooding. Everything from movies to not even logo changes as much. Besides like the upside down B's for A's, but I think we're going to see lots, and we're going to see a lot more things missing from history that we knew as we ascend. I'm sure of it.
Wow. The one that Brian and I did yesterday, which you probably already seen, was the movie from the Addams Family. The girl's dress having the white, I don't know if they were flowers or what they were, but I don't remember her dress ever having white on it except for the collar. But now in the Addams Family, the one where she goes to camp with her brother, the dress has got like white decorations all over it. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, I know what you're talking about, 100%. This is like the Paddington Bear thing with the change of his coat, and then Carmen Sandiego. She used to look more like Dick Tracy. Now she's got I think it's a Canadian show. You guys might know.
Oh, wow.
Canadian show. And she had
and you know, you wonder all these weird changes. What are the meanings behind them? I mean, what do they mean? I mean, why certain things change and then other logos just stay the same? You know, why particular things?
Little meaning. It literally is just how that decision was in this parallel. For instance, they sat down and they said, hey, what color do you want, Joe? Well, I like red. Well, I like yellow. Let's vote. And in this parallel, they voted red. You know what I'm saying? So not all of it has a meaning to it.
Her jacket was yellow.
Us awake and ascending.
Her jacket was yellow, and I know what they're going to say. They're going to say, no, you're confusing it with Curious George and the man with the yellow hat. I know.
Yep.
Yes. And I remember his tail, too. Curious George had a tail.
He did have a tail. He used to swing by that tail, dang it.
Yeah.
He did.
And I think they had a... Hey, Brian, do you still have the picture of that book where there's a picture of him hanging from the top with his tail? Remember I sent that to you a long time ago?
I could probably dig it up again real quick, but...
oh, yeah, I found a picture of him with the tail hanging at the top of the book. It was pretty cool.
Because he wasn't a little chimp. He was a curious little monkey, for God's sakes.
Yeah. And then there's been like merchandise made where you actually see the tail. You know, like collectible merchandise.
There's even more.
Yeah.
Hold on. You're gonna kick out of this.
Awesome. Thank you.
Look at this. Right there.
In costumes, people like when you want to dress up for like Halloween, you know, Curious George, some of them even had the tails on them. People actually doing the costume with the tail. Oh, yeah.
Oh, you should see
it. Do you remember? And you know, Wendy? Do you remember Wendy with the braids?
Yes, I do.
And now it's weird. It's just, now it's just plain straight hair.
And of course you get you're confusing with Pippi Longstocking. No, I'm not.
Oh, no, I found tons of residue for the Wendy's thing. Right, Brian? Tons of residue. Oh, yeah. Once I get on a roll, Kiera, looking for residue, I'll be up all night looking and finding more and finding more. And Brian's like, send me more. And I'm like, okay. And by that time, I'm sending like 15, 20 pictures. I'm like, is that enough?
Oh, yeah. If you need anything.
You know, once you start seeing it, Kiera, it flows.
I got residue on Velastic pickles today. I mean, it's like that's all I do. Residue.
Wow. Hey, I wanted to share something with you, and I don't know if you've probably seen it. You remember the Jiffy peanut butter?
Yes, I have seen everything to do with the Jiffy peanut butter. I got so much residue.
Did you see the one where he named his horse Jiffy Peanut Butter? Did you hear about that one?
I haven't seen that one.
Yes. Google this. If I don't know if you're on your computer. Google this. Jiffy Peanut Butter Race Horse. You're going to be like, what? Yes, the original person who found it, had a racehorse and he named it Jiffy Peanut Butter. Google that in your computer.
And we're going to go ahead and call it a night, guys. Thank you.
All right, you take care and we'll talk.
No.
Thank you, Kiera. We look forward to seeing you again, okay? Good night.
Yes, nice meeting you. I'll see you on Facebook.
See you.
Nice meeting you.
Okay. Bye,
Bye-bye.
everyone.